So I want to ask you this as well. So, because when I was studying your book, and I really call it studying because I read both of the books twice because on Audible, because it was like really informative in regards to just very tactical information in regards to what you were saying, like what's a good company, what does that look like, really filtering that out. And when I found this out is like you obviously must have obviously a team associated around yourself in regards to kind of not like the portfolio company per se, but obviously the holding company where they're able to then when you do buy something, your team can help integrate and really optimize the margin and the culture and everything like that and making sure that this is very streamlined and there's an onboarding, if you will, quote unquote onboarding process. What kind of help me understand how you think about building your team around you so that obviously you're the one that's negotiating, you're the one that's probably finding these deals, or you work with people outside externally, bring amazing deal flow, you have those conversations, but you can't also integrate amazing companies culturally and all that stuff and optimize on your portfolio. You only have so much time, right? So your bandwidth. So how
Yeah.
do you leverage a team to really streamline that process
Well,
from point A to point
it's
B?
it's a great question, and it's an important question. So when I generally get to a company and I've been hired, I've been brought in, it's like I'm going to do a buy and build. It's probably an underperforming asset because that's probably what I started with, and so I've got some element of turning around the base business, and then I'm going to do the buy and build, and I'm going to turn around, fix culture, bolt on all these companies, but I tell people I feel like I'm John the Baptist. I'm one voice crying out in the wilderness, and eventually you build the team. So a great classic example, my last buy and build. When I started, I did it over a 5-year period, 2 different hold periods, two different sponsors, and when I got there, I had no team. I had nobody in the business that was focused on doing M&A, and so by the time I left 5 years later, there was around 6, 7 people, full-time employees who did nothing but deal. So I usually start with a profile. It's like I get in. So first of all, you think about the business itself, whatever the industry is. Every company I went into, I had no industry experience at the time. So I became an industry expert when somebody hired me and called me CEO of a company in an industry. And all of a sudden I'm an HVAC guy, or I'm a laundry guy. It's like I never had any experience till I get there. So first thing I do is I quickly evaluate the team that I've got on the field. I'm like a manager of a baseball team. I just come on. It's like, are we winning? Are we losing? How are we performing? Who are my key players? What are the positions that they're in? And do I have the makings of a championship team? And I always start with an assumption that everybody who's on the team gets a chance to show me that they belong to, that they can earn the right to stay on that team, because I'm not just going to be where we're at a 30% compound annual growth rate. We're going to be 4 times the size in 5 years. Do I have not just a team that can lead for today, but do I have a team that can scale to a magnitude of 4 times larger? And sometimes that answer is yes, no. So I'm evaluating the people on the team that I've got. Meanwhile, I'm looking at where am I going to make my key investments, during this hold period? What are my initiatives? What's my value creation plan look like? And in every company I've ever done, there's going to be an inorganic, there's going to be an M&A component to that. And so I'll look at what have I got on the team? Do I have people with M&A experience? No. Do I have a deal person? No. Probably one of the first jobs I'll hire in a company is a VP of business development. I typically go to the big accounting firms and I look for someone who leads one of the teams in transaction services. So these are people who have an accounting background. They know how to do Q of E's, and they've worked on probably 100 deals by the time they're in their mid-30s, and they've got about 8 years worth of experience. And now I'm going to take them in-house. I'm going to make them a millionaire, and I'm going to give them an opportunity to do the same thing they've been doing for 8 years, but now do it for me inside the company rather than just sitting at a table helping companies get through diligence and getting deals closed. So I'll start with a senior guy to be, or lady to be that deal leader, the VP of business development. I'll then add a junior analyst, and I usually build teams of 2. And then I start solving for bottlenecks. And so, okay, I got a great front end. I'll hire a buy-side advisor like a Harvey and Company or a Critical Point Partners. They'll start doing call it building the funnel. My early team members will be doing the initial outreach. And then as I'm getting bigger, getting more volume, I'm adding capacity. And so if I start having a lot of deals and I'm backing up once I buy them on integration, I'll start adding integration managers. And then like a kitchen, a chef adding some little ingredients to his it's pasta sauce, I'm going to be sitting there and watching my machine. And as it's continuing to evolve and grow, it's like, where am I bottlenecking? And then I'm going to feed the area I'm